On September 15th, Zimbabwe's President Robert Mugabe and political rival Morgan Tsvangirai agreed to share power. The agreement calls for Mr. Mugabe to remain president, with Mr. Tsvangirai becoming prime minister. Initially, Mr. Mugabe welcomed the idea.
Our brothers and sisters, Zimbabwe is African. Zimbabwe for Zimbabweans.
The deal is aimed at ending the political crisis that has paralyzed Zimbabwe's government and economy. It calls for Mugabe's ZANU-PF to hold 15 cabinet positions. The Movement for Democratic Change, led by Morgan Tsvangirai, would get 13 posts. But since the agreement was signed, negotiators for the two men have been at odds over who will control various ministries. Mr. Mugabe has called the deal a humiliation for his party. Mr. Tsvangirai's party says Mr. Mugabe is trying to claim the powerful ministries, including local government, finance, and defense.
They are a national institution. And in the agreement, you'll see that all state organs and national institutions must be national. And that's the spirit I will approach it. They are national institutions. They are not ZANU-PF institutions. They are national. And therefore, the spirit of professionalism has to be instilled in those national institutions so that they don't become partisan.
Discussions on the composition of the cabinet are now in the hands of mediators, led by outgoing South African President Thabo Mbeki. Zimbabwe's disputed elections in March, with the opposition MDC pulling out because of violence against its supporters, aggravated a lingering political crisis that led to the agreement on a new unity government. Briggs Bamba is an analyst with Africa Action in Washington. He says disagreements over power sharing highlight the pitfalls in forming a government.
What is the clear division of authority, that the whole new arrangement creates? There's potential that there will be squabbles and there will be duplication, and people can lose a lot of time, energy, and resources, just playing a power game.
Some in Zimbabwe look to Kenya as a model. Last December, disputed elections there fueled widespread violence. More than 1,000 people were killed and 500,000 were displaced. Tensions eased after President Mwai Kibaki agreed to share power with opposition leader Raila Odinga. Meanwhile, Zimbabwe continues to suffer from massive food shortages. Roxanne Lawson, policy director with Trans-Africa Forum in Washington, recently visited Zimbabwe. She says stores in rural areas have little or no food on their shelves.
The actual real food is not being parceled out to people. The government and now international NGOs are again back at work trying to feed Zimbabwe citizens. But that, coupled with the food crisis internationally, with drought in Zimbabwe, have made really dire circumstances for the average Zimbabweans.
Aid agencies are distributing emergency food supplies, but officials say more than 2 million people are going hungry, and that number is expected to rise. The economy is in ruins, with inflation at about 11 million%. Experts say time is running out to solve the political and humanitarian challenges facing the country. Simkins, VOA News, Washington.